Valve just released their newest game, Deadlock, and it is an absolute pleasure to play. It is probably some of the most fun gaming I've had since Overwatch beta, which is saying a lot because I think so fondly on that time. Now, I know that a new game can always be a little bit complicated, and Deadlock is a MOBA, and so for a lot of people, they've never played MOBAs before, it can be very intimidating to get into a game like this. I saw a clip recently from Summit 1G that made me really excited to make this video because I want as many people from as many different games to at least try this game out and to come into it with a good mindset and to come into it understanding what they're getting into. Summit 1G here thinks that this game is like Valorant, like CSGO, like Fortnite. It's not any of those games, and it's really clear because you can see the way that he reacts to a fight like this. Now let's watch the clip and we'll talk about it. Okay, so he's fighting.
Oh, I love this game! I love it! I felt like I could do something in that fight.
Boom. I felt like I could do something in that fight the whole time. Okay, this is a fundamental misunderstanding between what a MOBA is and what many other games are. So Summit 1G might have, I'm not saying that he definitely does, but he might have this idea in his head that this is a game that every single fight that you enter into, you have the same advantage. Deadlock is a MOBA where you get advantages, not necessarily in fights. You get advantages out on the map. You get advantages through playing the game. So I want to talk about Deadlock at its fundamentals and then kind of build on that knowledge so that anybody can come into this game and have a good time playing it. So with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is lanes. So lanes are something that's certainly different from many other of these games that we mentioned. And so that's why I wanted to start with them. They're also an incredibly important part of the game. In fact, it's the only part of the game that you really need to pay attention to. When you start the game, you will automatically be placed in one of these lanes. You don't have to pick, you don't have to fight with your team for what's the lane that you want to play. You don't have to think about anything like that. All you need to do is just pick your character. The game puts you in the right lane. Don't worry about it for now. I'm sure later metas will evolve, but for right now, I don't want to be talking about any specifics. I just want to be talking about general ideas so that you can at least jump into a game like this and understand kind of roughly what's going on. So like I said, early game, this is kind of what you're looking at, right? So this is right when we launched in. This is immediately what happens. You get put into a lane. You will get put into a lane either by yourself or with a partner. And if you're by yourself, you'll be playing only against one other person. If you're with a partner, you'll be playing only with, two other people in your lane. It doesn't mismatch it. Like any complicated problem, it's best to simplify it as much as we can. So let's take this lane and just let's take the whole map and let's just look at one lane. So this is the middle of the lane, and at both goals, both of each team's goal is to get to the other end of the team. So there'll be something that we need to deal damage to at the other side of the map, and that's what we need to do. There are different objectives in the way, though, and we'll get to those. But this is what it generally looks like. So at an early game, this is what we're looking at. We want to try to move through this little diamond, through this diamond, through this diamond, and then to that diamond so that we can get to the very end. So this is everybody's objective. Their objective is to do the same thing. And then now we can kind of look at the whole map and we can understand, okay, everybody is trying to do the same thing. They're going to, if they die, they will go back on their same lane and they will try again to keep pushing on that same area. So this is what the early game looks like. And then as the game progresses, you'll see that this is kind of what a mid game looks like. You'll see that one lane on their side is really far pushed. The yellow lane is all the way pushed into our base. Meanwhile, we have the orange lane all the way pushed, and we have the purple lane all the way pushed, and we have a little fight going on kind of in their base. And then meanwhile, you kind of have like the mid lane right here. So these lines kind of give you an idea of where it's safe to be. So if you can imagine yourself is on one of these points in the map, you are safe as long as you are on this line. If you're anywhere not on this line, you're kind of at risk for getting killed pretty much anywhere that you might be. So you have to keep that in mind, and just if you want to be safe, stay on the line. That's a really good rule of thumb. And the nice thing about this is that this line will change throughout the game, and it will change really, really quickly. So as the game progresses, you'll see this line move, and you'll be able to kind of understand exactly where it is. And then as the game kind of gets later, you'll see that we've just about won the game. All of our lanes are pushed up, and we're having a final fight right at the very end. So the nice thing about these lines is it makes it very clear very quickly where we are in the game and where we can go to safely be. So as a comparison, this is what League map generally looks like, kind of like mid-game. It's very hard at a quick glance to understand where it's safe for us to be, right? Like obviously on vision is good. This is terrible. There's no vision in the jungle anywhere. But you can kind of understand, okay, this lane's pushed up. This lane is getting there. Where is this lane? Oh, it's right here. Okay, push down. And this one still has turrets. It's not nearly as visually clear as the Deadlock map is. And I'm really excited about that. I think that's a great addition. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is just the laning phase. So in the laning phase, you might be able to see the person that you're playing against, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can kill them. A headshot does not mean a kill. You can deal damage to them, but they might be able to heal that damage right back up really quickly. So you might not want to be spending all your resources damaging the enemy when you could be doing other things like getting stronger. So one of the ways that you can get stronger is by getting souls. So souls are got by killing a minion or by killing the soul. Okay, so once you kill a minion, a soul, if you are the final hit for the minion, there's also a couple of seconds after the minion dies for you to shoot it anyway, and you'll still get the kill. And then if you get that kill, a soul will show up as well. And that soul is worth, I think, just about as much as the kill is. So this is twice as much. The only thing is, the other team can also shoot this soul to deny you. So if the enemy team shoots it, you won't get any money, and then instead they will. So it's really good to make sure that you're securing these souls so the other team isn't getting them, and moving on that way. So this is the first Guardian. This is the first objective, that first diamond on the map that we want to take care of. This guy deals a lot of damage to your character. You cannot stand here without minions. You need your own minions to be taking the damage. You can see right here that this Guardian is firing at one of my minions here, and then this will make it so that I can deal damage to him and eventually kill the enemy Guardian. Once the enemy Guardian has been killed, at that moment, then we can move on to the next diamond on the map, and this is what I want to talk about. So like I said, the enemy Guardian, a little health right there. And then up next after that is the enemy Walker. This is a much bigger, much stronger. He has an AoE attack, among other things. But you're moving on to him next. So you can see that's the diamond with little blocks in the middle. After that, you'll go up against two Guardians. So that's those two little double diamonds right there. And then next, you'll be doing the Shrine and the Patron. So we'll talk about that next, actually right now. Why not? Let's go ahead. So the Patron, it has two phases. So he has these phases right here where he's open. He's available to just be taken out. You have to kill the little shrines that are near it. It's all very clear. It's not going to be confusing at what you need to shoot at next. It's the shrine and then the patron, and these little health bars will kind of help you understand exactly what you need to be shooting at. So once you've disabled the patron, once you've killed the patron, then he moves down into this kind of weaker form where we'll kill him and he doesn't shoot back at you or anything like that. You don't need minions necessarily, but the enemies are spawning literally right here. They're spawning right on the other side of this door. So if you die, you'll be out for I don't know, like you could be out for a full minute and you won't be able to spawn back in. You're not going to be able to get back into the fight very quickly. Whereas if they come out, they will literally be standing right here and then just jump over the wall and be able to shoot you. So that's the idea. We want to keep all of this in mind. These are just, again, some of the basics. Okay, so that's the goal of the game. That goal of the game, again, is to get to the end, to kill the patron while the other team is not doing this to you. Understand? With me? I hope. If you have any questions, please feel free to jump them into the comments. I'm happy to talk about it because I love these games. I love how complicated they are. I love MOBAs, and I'm really excited to get other people into this. So if you made it this far, you're also probably interested in the shop. The shop is another very confusing thing and something that's just really overwhelming for a lot of people. I completely understand. I fully expect this to be a lot more clear than it is right now. I think right now it's still an alpha. It's still not quite where we want it to be. It's not really clear what components build into what yet. It's not as clear as it could be. I think it's clear enough, but it's not clear as it could be. And I think over time, we'll eventually get to the spot where we want to be. So with this, we have a shop. We have all of these different things that we can buy. So we have, spirit things. In this game, that's another big thing. In this game, there's two types of damage. There's physical damage, weapon damage, there's spirit damage. So there's three things that you can upgrade, though. So you can upgrade weapon, vitality, or spirit. So if you're dealing spirit damage, you want to get some spirit damage, that's fine. You can also get stuff to mitigate the spirit type of spirit damage that you take, as well as the type of physical damage that you take. So those are also things to keep in mind, and you can build your character to that. If you're playing a tank, then probably build more things that are tankish, and if you're not, then don't. Obviously, you want to build more items that deal more damage. if this is all very confusing to you, do not worry. Do not worry. Valve actually did a huge thing here, and they added a browse builds thing where you just click on this button and it allows you to go into this extra little menu, and this will open up a separate little menu that you'll be able to select, and then it'll just populate this for you by itself. You don't need to do any thinking. You don't need to do any theory crafting. You just click down the line if you have the souls. So again, these souls come from killing enemy champions, killing minions, and killing the souls or denying the souls from your other team. So what you want to be doing in order to get stronger so that you can do well in fights is you need to be getting these souls so that you can eventually move forward in the game. And now I hope you kind of understand where I was coming from when I watched Summit's clip. I understood that he didn't understand. Let's go back into Summit's clip again, and you can see he has 5,600 souls in the bank and is playing a game against somebody who just came out of the base, okay? Of course that guy's going to be stronger than him because he's leveraging his advantages somewhere else. Okay, this game is not balanced yet. I will absolutely admit that. But that said, I think where this frustration is coming from is a fundamental misunderstanding of what a MOBA is. So that's why I wanted to make this video. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, please share it with your friends. Leave a comment telling me that you liked it. I love hearing that. And if you didn't like it, please also tell me. I'd love to talk about this more. Deadlock is such an exciting game for me. I can't wait. I can't believe that this has come out. So thanks for watching, and I hope you tune in next time.